dare I say it? No, maybe not. But in the portkey game, there's nobody producing pigs for how they look.
They like to be active. Anything that makes a noise, fix a chain to the wall,
And they'll just pull at it.
and they'll just and if clangs and makes it, they'll stand there all for hours. It's a constant income every month. It doesn't fluctuate like a milk check. So you know exactly what you're getting every month.
Yeah.
You can do your cash flow, you can budget.
Although yourself and a lot of farmers in England are taking advantage of those schemes as they are, I mean, I think it'd be fair to say that not many of us actually really agree with them. Like the principle behind them all.
And as she rode them down the basket, I thought, if you dealt with chips, you dealt with shape. You must be able to.
I like it.
I've been Cammy.
I've been Iona.
And we're all
Fed by farmers.
Hello and welcome to the Fed by Farmers podcast with me, Cammy Wilson.
And me, Iona Murray.
We are, as always, thankful to our sponsors who make this whole thing happen. Who are they, Iona?
They are Crystalyx and Tracesure by Animax.
Crystalyx and Tracesure by Animax. Thank you to both of them for getting behind us. As always, I have my bolusing finished. My Crystalyxing will be coming soon. If you love this podcast and you love well vitaminized and nourished sheep, then think about either of them.
Well, even if you don't have your own sheep, just buy some and put it in a field.
Don't do that. Please don't do that. Not that a farm, to be fair.
You're making a farmer's Christmas?
Yeah, leave the lid on it, I think.
Why? Oh, just in case.
Let the farmer choose.
Yeah.
What you do is buy, that's a great way to make a farmer's day.
That's what I'm saying, make their Christmas.
Buy a tub of
This is Christmas
Crystalyx.
Eve.
Yeah, go into your Taff Valley, your Cars Billington, your Charlie's, whatever your local store is, your East of Scotland farmers, shout out to them. Buy a tub of Crystalyx and get a Sharpie and just write on the pin the lid to the farmer.
Merry Christmas.
Thanks for all your hard work. Merry Christmas, and just sit it at the gate. And the first guy that drives by will pinch it. Also, aside, it always does surprise me that. Oh, does it surprise me? I suppose not, because the people that need Crystalyx are generally decent people. Mm-hmm. I was always like, I surprise people, 20 quid a tub or whatever. Like, I'm surprised more people don't just lift them out of the fields. But then
The farmers are decent folk.
that's what I mean. In like BAMs, it's a hard thing to sell down the pub.
Aye, who's
You ever tried it?
never?
Hard thing. We should do that for a wee Fed by Farmers special.
What, go and try and punt
See if
a
we can
tub
punt
of
a Crystalyx down the pub. And with the bolus will be there.
I think I could.
And with the bolus, you want some of this, mate? What a hit you'll get, I tell you. You'll be buzzing. So there we go. Thanks to them. And as always, if you want to get behind the podcast, I know we're on Christmas Eve now, so it's too late for Christmas. Hopefully you've got plenty of Fed merch to open tomorrow for your Christmas presents. But as always, the website's there, fedbyfarmers.co.uk. This week's podcast, Neil Fell.
Yes.
Iona wasn't there for that. It was very last minute. It was like a Sunday night. Neil was coming up to dip my sheep, so we'll be footage of that in here, some other photos and images from Neil, and also just talking about how he got into contract dipping.
Yeah.
And keeping pigs, running sheep, arable farming, price of straw. We get into lots of other aspects of it too, so it isn't all heavy sheep related. We've gone quite a few tangents actually. We get quite into the pig chat, because I think there could be something in this pig thing. The rumours I hear are that Denmark are, they're taxing the sheep. Taxing the livestock, so hard because of emissions that it's going to make pork production skyrocket, or really clamp down, or just unaffordable in Denmark as a story. So I'm hearing that could have an impact on UK pork production being higher, which should be good. So yeah, we talk a bit about that. What I will say is there was a bit of a boohoo with the audio.
Yeah.
We had a wee incident where the audio files were lost. These things happen. It's a messy place in here. Things get lost all the time. So we've taken it from the phones. It's still good. Don't panic.
Yeah.
iPhones are incredible. They've salvaged it, and it's still a good podcast. So here we go. Here's Neil Fell from NRFell Mobile Dipping.
And we're here with Mr. Neil Fell, NRFell Dipping.
That's correct, yeah.
What does the R stand for?
Richard, my middle name.
Okay.
Yeah.
Quite English, King Richard.
Yeah, something like that, but not quite as royal.
No, I can imagine. And what's your story, Neil? Where are you from? What do you do?
From County Durham, in north of England, and we do mobile sheep dipping.
Is that all you do?
Well, no, we have a family farm as well at home. Have arable pigs, bed and breakfast, and we run breeding ewes as well.
Now, what about this pig bed and breakfast? Someone said to me at the Welsh Winter Fair that pigs in the UK are going to be booming soon because I think, is it Denmark? Well, a couple of things. They're either tightening up production or they're adding this carbon tax
Right.
to livestock. So they reckon that pork in the UK will be booming.
Right.
Have you heard that rumour?
I haven't, no.
No, well, I've certainly seen the thing about the carbon tax on livestock in Denmark. But there's some mention of Germany as well. I don't know if we got a lot of pork from Germany or Germany gets a lot of pork from Denmark or what the story is. But that was a rumour I heard that it's going to almost do like 50% again, they think. And
Right.
the way like lamb is booming just now,
Yeah.
they think that pork could go the same way. And I take you don't own the pigs though.
No, they're all bed and breakfast. So all bed and breakfast. So we bring them, we get them in as weaners. So I've got 35 kilos, and we take them right the way through to bacon pigs. So we'll start. They'll go at like 100 kilos there, 110 kilos.
And you just get paid. Do you have to supply the labour and the straw?
Yeah, labour, straw, water, and shed.
Yeah, okay.
They supply the feed, the vet meds, the pigs, and they haul it, anything like that. So yeah,
And
we just get paid on a per pig basis.
okay, what's the money like?
It's better than a milk check.
Okay, well I'm gonna tell you the number that was quoted to me at the Welsh Winter Fair, right? Because it's something I've always wondered about. If I could get, is it worth something getting a shed and trying it? So the number that was quoted to me at the Welsh Winter Fair was £50,000. £50,000 less your straw costs. I think it's £50,000 less, or £50,000 profit per 1,000 pigs. Which would mean 50 quid a head. Well, sorry, they rotate that as 3 times a year. So that's 3,000 pigs really.
Well,
isn't
they
it?
should be getting nearly 4 batches through.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would be what, 4,000 pigs really?
Yeah, that's the case. Yeah, but I mean, it all depends on what you're buying your straw in for. So obviously, I mean, I can't tell you what we're getting. I don't know if the man who we have them for wants us to know.
No, of course, I appreciate that. But could it be as lucrative as that? Could it be as good as that?
It's yeah.
Would they be telling me a lie there? Or
No, they're not lying to you there.
Yeah.
You won't be a million miles off.
Yeah. I think they maybe do a straw for muck type scenario.
Yeah, we do a bit of that as well. I mean, we have our own arable.
Yeah.
But our next door neighbour gets straw for muck as well, so helps it out. And it's also helped us out on the arable side with artificial fertilisers.
You need less because
We've nearly halved the artificial fertiliser that goes on. On the grass side at home, I've never put any artificial fertiliser on now for 5-6 years.
And do you put the pig muck on the
Pig muck goes on the grass, yeah. The only thing you've got to watch out for is if you've got using lamb for abortion.
Okay.
So make sure it's well washed in before, if you're going to turn anything that's in lamb on.
Yeah. And it's like a winter frost.
Yeah,
then.
yeah. We try to keep them off. Anything that's had muck on, we try and keep them off. But for cropping, we haven't really noticed much drop in yield for grass.
And how does this straw for muck thing work? I just quite can't get my head around it. I get that there's such a value in the fertiliser, but does it work that you have to bale it and cart it off the field?
Yes.
So it's as simple as the farmer cuts his crop,
Yep.
the straw lies in the field, you bale it and take it, he digs the muck back and that's it, there's no gas changes hands?
Yep, no cash changes hands, no. No, that's it.
Right.
So he'll supply a tractor, a trailer, a man to cart it away from the shed. We'll use we'll have our own telehandler to muck it out.
Okay.
And then he'll go and tip it wherever he wants it. And then once he's cut it, we then just go and bale it and cart it back ourselves.
And you'll be mucking out the shed 4 times a year, roughly?
We try and do halfway through a batch as well if we can.
Okay.
If we can. It doesn't always work out that way. But yeah, minimum, you know what I mean, we're at least halfway through.
Why?
You'll save on straw
Okay.
halfway through.
Because they'll poach it in so bad.
Yeah, poach it in. But this is the first year I've gone to I bought a straw cutter because we're about 300 bales short on straw this year, as a lot of people are, where the weather was in the season. So, and I've worked it out. Well, when we were bedding up before, just putting the bales in, and we just literally just dump them in, roll them out, let the pigs run around with them, you know what I mean? And that was it. We'd be doing about 50 bales a week when we bedded up. With a straw chopper, we're down to 15 bales a week. So you're bedding up slightly more often. So instead of bedding up
It's little and often rather
instead of bedding up maybe 2 or 3 times a week, you might bed up 4 times a week. But you're using less straw.
And you're in a purpose-built shed, or did you convert it?
No, they're all converted. Our farm's next dairy farm.
Okay.
So all the sheds there had to be converted. drop doors, you know what I mean, everything like that. Pan them off any feed barriers, things.
Do they need a lot of air, pigs? Does it have to be?
It's a fine line. So you want a good airflow, but you don't want a draft.
Okay.
Sounds silly.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. No.
Yeah, so making sure that obviously if you've got a north facing shed, obviously you're not going to want that north side exposed.
Yeah.
If you've got a south facing shed, it's not as bad. So
And what kind of problems do pigs produce? Like, do you get like?
To be fair,
I've got issues I wouldn't even know.
touch wood, we've been not so bad since we started with them in 2014, I believe it was. All the pigs that we get always come for the same holdings, or pretty much most time for the same holdings. So if there's a disease outbreak, you can trace it back straight away. But in theory, it's like anything. If you're buying calves in or things like that, if you buy them for the same place all the time, you're going to reduce your risk of disease.
Yeah.
So it's very similar to that. But we found pigs ill very, very little. You know what I mean? It's more so maybe a stress thing, if anything. If they get moved, they might end up getting a little bit of scour or something like that to start off with. But even then, I think we've only had scour in them once in all the years, the 10 years that we've had them.
But pig genetics will be far better than cow and sheep.
Yeah,
Because it's such big money and it's, dare I say it? No, maybe not. But in the pork game, there's nobody producing pigs for how they look.
No.
It's all about performance.
Yeah.
Whereas we're terrible in sheep and cattle for factoring how they look.
Yeah.
To a lot of decisions, which actually is so irrelevant in the grand scheme of things.
All this thing we've been doing in the pig industry, and you'd be better speaking to a pig expert for this, is...
You sound like one, just say it with confidence,
Yeah,
that's fine.
they all want, of what I can gather when I've been speaking to people about it, they just want to be able to grow as quick as possible.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And there was a chap that we used to be on for, not mentioning any names, he wanted everything moved to slide sheds.
Okay.
Off loose straw housing, all of ours are loose straw housed. He went on slats for the simple reason he said he did these figures out and he could finish pigs 2 weeks sooner on slats than what he could on straw.
Right.
And people might think, well, it's only 2 weeks, but I suppose when our pigs are ready to go, they'll be eating 26 to 28 ton of feed a week.
Yeah.
And that's like 1,000, 1,200.
Is that right? How many pigs do you run at any one time?
There's just under 1,200 at the moment.
Okay.
So, but I'm looking to try and get another shed up to put another 1,000 on if we can.
Is that right? But am I right in saying that you need to keep it below 2,000?
You've got to keep below 2,000, yeah.
Or you need a vet on site or something?
You've go to a different license, yeah. You've got to do it through a few more hoops, yeah. That's for finishing pigs.
Mm-hmm.
If you're doing weaners, like small pigs, baby pigs, straight off, you can have as many as you want. And there's no limit there to a certain degree. It's only finishing pigs.
Oh wait, so do you have somebody breeding the pigs and then somebody taking them to the next stage before they come to you?
Yes.
So what age are they when they come to you?
They're about 12, 13 weeks old there.
Okay, so there's a middleman there as well?
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yeah. A lot of our pigs come out of Scotland.
Yeah, northeast.
Yeah, where it is, up on the northeast side. Yeah. And they bring them down, and they'll bring them down so far, and they'll leave them there for, like you say, maybe, I don't know, 8 weeks, something like that, 10 weeks, and then they'll bring them down to us, and we'll finish them, and then they'll go down to the Midlands there.
Yeah. No, I did. That was a story from the Welsh Winter Fair. I chatted. It was a great show. I chatted to loads of people, but we did happen to get cracking to one guy talking about. Well, I'm always interested to hear what everyone else is doing on farms and diversifying a bit, I suppose. And that was his thing.
It's definitely the best thing. We used to be we used to be dairy until foot and mouth came. Mm-hmm. We got took out with foot and mouth, and we didn't go think like what do we do with the sheds? You know, do we fill them back up with cattle again? But at the time, you know, foot and mouth was on, so you had to leave them. So and we thought, right, we'll look at the bed and breakfast job. So because we used to late 80s for a chap who had a lot of pigs at the time, still does, and just rang him up on the off chance just to see what he thought. Yeah, I know, I'm looking for farms. Mm-hmm. So he came in, had a look, said, yep, no problem.
Are they looking for farms just now?
I believe so.
Yeah. Okay, no, the wee cogs are working in my head all the time.
Our accountant had always said to us, any farmer that they look after that's got pigs, their books is looking probably the best out of arable, dairy, cattle farmers.
They may not be beating the hen guys, the
No,
egg guys.
no,
and
not
the
necessarily.
Yeah.
But the way I look at it is, and the way we see it, it's a constant income every month. It doesn't fluctuate like a milk check. So you know exactly what you're getting every month.
Yeah.
You can do your cash flow, you can budget on that side anyway.
And you're paid monthly.
We paid monthly. Yeah.
And how often is it reviewed? Like, just depending on the cost of inputs, you
Yeah.
battle back and forth.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Yeah, if they're making more from pork, it doesn't mean you make any more. It's just
No, we have if pork goes up in price, we still get the same per pig. If pork goes down in price, we still get the same.
Yeah, okay, so it's like you say, you're
swings and roundabouts. You know what I mean? That's what it is.
Yeah.
Crystalyx Extra High Energy feed blocks have been providing high energy supplementation to ewes, lambs and rams in the UK since 1978. Packed full of protein, vitamins, minerals and trace elements, Crystalyx Extra High Energy has been proven to increase live lamb numbers and improve lamb daily live weight gain at a cost of only 4 to 7 pence per ewe per day. To view the full Crystalyx range and find your nearest stockist, visit crystalyx-global.com.
So you do the pigs. What else you say you do on farm?
We have sheep as well.
Yep.
Used to run 1,400 Welsh Mountains. Well, there was 1,000 Welsh Mountains, and then the rest was 3/4 bred Texel, Suffolk Cross, and a handful of pedigree Beltex and Texels. But we sort of changed farm policy this year in August, and I've sold about 1,100-1,200 of them.
Yeah. Sold them for breeding or just?
They went. One man bought the job lot, all the lambs, all the ewes.
Good.
And they all went. And I've just kept the pedigree Beltex and Texels now. So I've gone from lambing 1,400 to lambing 112 this year.
Crazy.
This next year comes.
Crazy.
So
But I take it the man that's taking it, is this a deal that he's taking all the ground as well, or?
No,
He's taking them away.
they went down. The ewes went down to Suffolk.
Okay.
The
Welsh Mountains in Suffolk.
Yes.
There you go. You see that all now.
Yeah.
And what's going to have all the ground then? You're going to have to keep it down with something
We've ploughed it all out. We've put it down as arable. So we always did have the arable on the farm.
to help with the straw.
Yeah, to help with the straw job. Yeah.
And feed for the pigs, is that a special feed, or do you use your crop to feed them? Or?
No, it comes from a mill. So the people that we have them on for, they have their own mill. So they bring their own seed in. You see.
Yeah, and you need. Here's an awful lot. I'm so intrigued by this pig thing, like, because I do think it's very interesting. As I say, I did hear that gossip that there could be a pork boom on the way. How many big feed bins do you need, or how do you store all this feed?
They're in big towers. So
Yeah.
so we have like 4 towers that feed the sheds. They're all fed on a laser eye system.
But they like, are they automatically?
Yeah, they're all automatics. Yeah. So there's none of this going in and having to tip them into hoppers. It's automatically done for you. So
How much does a system like that cost to set up? It's quite a big thing.
I believe that the chap that we were on for first, he put all the system in. There was no contract. There was a shake of a hand, and he said, "Okay, I think he spent about 25,000 putting these feed lines in."
Yeah.
And he said that's my contract.
Yeah.
I'm paying for the infrastructure on there. Yeah, I'm not going to pull out tomorrow.
Good for you, because absolutely.
Yeah. So he did that. So yeah, it was a good call.
And it works that way and quite simple. But you yourself will not have much to do with them, do you?
But
How can you? You're bloody dipping sheep everywhere all the time.
I don't dip as many sheep as I used to now. Well, we still do dip a lot of sheep.
Yeah, you.
I virtually won't out with much now. No. That might be changing now. Is get rid of the sheep a bit more. So
Yeah.
But no, basically we check them every morning, every evening, and bed them up. We help load them. But obviously the guys that we use, they send their own stuff, their old fieldsmen out.
Mm-hmm.
They come, they mark them up, they say which ones they want to go.
Yep.
And then we obviously help them get them out the sheds and load them up. But you can load 180 pigs in 20 minutes.
Do you have to use the boards and all that? Or
Yes,
class
all the boards, and some of them have tambourines, some of them have
bags, and is there on the stake and some they will do. Yeah. They do much fighting, like biting. They're like I worked that a bit before, and there was a bit of biting the tails, but I think they've bred that out of them now, haven't they?
Yeah, we've never had any tail biting. I wouldn't like to think. I couldn't remember last time we had any tail biting.
Yeah. I went to a thing with Landlord to, it was Modern or the college, SEC were doing a thing, and they literally breed it out of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's mad, they play sounds of aggression to them,
Right.
and the ones that respond to it, they don't use them for breeding.
Right.
And this is their way of finding pigs that don't respond to, oh, it was mad, like how they ever work out this works. But that was where it was for, to target the tail biting and the fighting.
I can probably believe it.
Yeah, because it all adds to more stress.
Yeah,
You know, the pigs don't finish if they're running about chasing each other and stressing.
They like to be active. So obviously, if they get bored, then chances are they will. So we've had things like chains hanging down from the ceiling with a bit of blue alkathene piping on, or we've put the balls in.
Yeah.
We've had like an empty 5-gallon drum just throw it in, and anything that makes a noise, or if you've got a chain on fix a chain to the wall,
and they'll just pull at it.
and they'll just, and if clangs and they'll stand there all for hours. You know what I mean? They're very intelligent animals. Yeah, they're very intelligent.
I have heard that. And is it all balls? How's it work? No, just a mix? Or?
Yeah, it's a mix. So depending on
Oh, is it the story that they're killed so quick they never come to maturity, sexual maturity? Is that right? So they're not castrated?
No, they're not castrated. No. They'll just be starting sexual maturity when they go.
Yeah. Okay.
So
And someone told me that was one of the major issues during COVID. Was it COVID when they were?
the side effects is them.
They couldn't get rid of them. But the problem with pigs, if you keep them too long, they get into this sexual maturity and the whole thing. And
They start to fight.
Yeah. And it's
Because you've got the boars, especially the boars and the gilts, and if they start fighting,
Yeah.
you wouldn't want to get in between them when they're fighting.
no, exactly, all that weight. Yeah, and that was a story I heard that during COVID there was a lot of
There was a lot of loads put back. Yeah, there was a lot of loads put back. Luckily enough, I think we had one load put back by about 2 or 3 days.
It's nothing.
We were fine, but I did hear some stories of people there. They were like 2 or 3 weeks kind of bang. So we've been not so bad.
Yeah. So you're bumping up the arable side of things as well to work at less sheep now, no cattle.
No cattle now, no. There's a lot of layout before you see your return.
Better putting pigs in a shed around the south centre.
Yes.
Did you ever bring cattle back on after foot?
Yeah. After foot and mouth, we went into rearing black and white dairy bull calves, and we did that when, like I say, when basically the time when they were shooting, when they were worthless.
Yeah.
And we were getting them for next to nothing, £5 we were buying a car for.
Yeah.
And then fast forward to 2014, we were running about 400 on the farm. And
Never outside, just in a shed.
vintage and shit, yeah, they're all bulls. You know, no heifers or anything like that. Everything was bulls. Kept everything cool, never castrated anything. And we used to take them through the stores, so take them through about 11, 12 months.
Would folk buy them as stalls?
Yeah.
I suppose that folk will buy anything if the price is right. Yeah. What kind of money you? I know that's a few years ago, but
at the time,
I mean, feed was cheaper then. That was one thing.
Well, yeah, I mean,
everything was cheaper then.
Everything was cheap. That's the reason why we went out, because milk prices had shot up in price. Yeah. Concentrates had gone up, but your price for your product was still the same. So no, what were we getting? We were getting like black and white. Black and whites was would have been getting maybe £350, £400.
Yeah, okay.
Pulling then. Continentals, you might be getting 600, something like that. Yeah. But like you say, that was the main reason why I went out. It was just because we were standing still. So, and in the farm job, you can't stand still.
No, the pig job, I don't keep coming back out to it, but no, it does sound interesting, something very different. You obviously got a lot of acres. Who's involved in the business? Are you just yourself, your brothers, or your father? Or?
No, my father used to be until last year. He passed away last year in July. And that was another reason behind us reducing the sheep numbers. Because it went from me and my father being there, and at lambing time, trying to get staff is just horrendous. The lads who were on the dipping side, they used to drop on the farm when we slowed down a bit, but they're out all the time. Yeah, so it's very rare they're on the farm now. And trying to get staff is just a nightmare. And trying to get good staff as well.
Yes, because you would land them outside.
We'll land a lot of them, all the Welshes were outside, the 3-quarter breds and the pedigrees were all inside. And it was just a nightmare. I've got 2 young kids and never see the wife. And it was a case of, right, we're going to have to have some big changes here. And we looked at, right, how can we change? What can we do? And it was a no-brainer. Get rid of the sheep. The sheep had to be reduced.
And I mean, you're England, so it's obviously very different than Scotland with a lot of things that are happening just now. Do you do any of these SFIs? Do you plant? Yeah. Do you plant some meadows?
Yeah, we've gone into SFIs. We sat down, did the figures, and the SFIs we've gone into, so we've gone into like you say, all these different species getting planted. stitched in, wet patches getting took out, and you know what I mean, all these.
What do you mean wet patches getting taken out?
So any wet patches in fields, like corners where it wouldn't really yield much, you know what I mean, we've fenced them off and we've took them out and we've re-drilled them for these wildflowers and all things like that.
So the wet patches, you drill them and fence them off,
Yeah.
and then you get paid for them.
Yeah, you get paid for them, yeah.
Amazing, that.
It's just so the sheep cows, you can't graze it, you know what I mean?
Yeah, so bits that were useless to you anyway.
Yeah, that wouldn't yield anything anyway, so you're getting something from it. So all them areas there, and we've got a few streams and rivers running through the farm, they're all fenced off or getting fenced off.
Yeah.
And we worked it out by the time we put the extra arable down, the SFIs we've gone into, and a couple of other bits and bobs, we're pretty much making the same money as what we were lambing 1,400 ewes. Less work.
A lot less work. You'll be taking up skiing next, proper arable style.
Well, I wouldn't have thought so. I'll be one of these that'll roll down the mountain and break my leg first time.
Yeah, it's the SFI thing, I think, to some people, especially out with farming. In fact, some people in farming, is just mind-blowing. Because it's worth pointing out that although yourself and a lot of farmers in England are taking advantage of those schemes as they are, I mean, I think it'd be fair to say that not many of us actually really agree with them. Like, the principle behind them all is put the productive land to put in, meadows and things for biodiversity is madness. Yeah. I mean, especially paying the taxpayer money.
Yes.
To do it.
What I've done at home is like we're saying there. I've sort of looked at it, and I could have put a lot more in, and probably made a bit more money off it, but I'm a firm believer in trying to reduce the amount of land that we're taking out of production.
Yeah.
Right. Now, so these areas that are generally wet and don't produce anything, they're not making me anything off the farm anyway.
Well, this is a great option for you.
So that's what we've done there, and the other areas that we've put well stitched other species in, they're permanent pasture anyway.
Yeah.
So we can't plough it out. It's got to be left as permanent pasture. So
is this what, just uneven ground, rough ground?
some of it's rigging furrow, like some of it's rigging furrows. We've gone into that one, but we've got others that are old pastures that it's still mobile, but it's you can't do anything.
So you could just go over and stitch that stuff.
Just stitch it in. Yeah.
How does SFI work? You paid per acre?
Yeah.
What kind of money is in an SFI thing? Like
It all depends.
£70 like the old system. Or?
It all depends what you're going for. I mean,
also it depends what species you put in.
Because it depends which SFIs you're going into. Okay. So I mean, these extra species which you're stitching in, some of it's up to like, what is it, 85 or 80 something pound a hectare. Yeah. So there's 3 or 4 different ones that I've gone into, and it works out. Obviously, the reduction of the single farm payment that's coming in, it's just sort of topping that up.
But you're still going to be less than you were, are you?
Yeah, because we're not making as much as what we were before.
Because you would have been a big single farm payment with your acreage, but you're going to be absolutely hammered with this. Things that you're not. Like, it looks like it's going to absolutely smash.
Like, well, they've capped it now. I think it's about 8,000. I think they've capped it as now. So it doesn't matter if you used to get £100,000 last year, that's 8,000 this year.
That's what I heard about it. I couldn't remember the cap, but I remember I read a wee article about it, and they basically said, the big guys are the ones that are going to really suffer. Because it is just capped. It doesn't matter how big or how big a pay it was. It's just capped at 8,000. But then obviously they bring in other things. I think there's stuff for hedgerows and other. There's all like Scotland's a bit funny. Our budgets. Well, this will be out after our budget, so we're filming this on the 1st of December. Our budget's out the 4th, I think, for Scotland. That's why we were at Parliament the other day just to try and show a presence, because it's just too easy just now for governments just to say, let's take half of it and give it to NHS. Which is what everybody's worried to do to the farming budget in Scotland. So, it's worrying times ahead. I take it, so you're just the only one that you now own the farm?
It's the way we are treated.
Oh, it's rented?
Yeah.
So you don't need to worry too much about the succession thing?
Well, yes and no. It all depends what the estate's going to do with...
Because they might struggle with paying bills and whatnot.
They might, so you just don't know what's going to happen there. They might come back and give the option to buy.
What estate
never
is
that?
What estate is that?
It's Bransford Estates.
Right, okay. I know you had that.
Yeah, I know it's Bransford Estates.
Okay, Durham, you're obviously just blowing the Northumberland there?
Yes, yeah. We can't be Durham. So we can't be Durham.
Is that better than Northumberland?
I'll say it's God's country.
You better watch. You put a lot of customers in Northumberland.
Yeah.
I always thought it was pretty similar, is it not?
Oh yeah.
What's the team for County Durham?
For the
What would be the football team down there? Is Sunderland? Is that in
no,
Northumberland?
we're right in slap in the middle. We've got Sunderland and we've got Newcastle.
Oh, is Newcastle County Durham?
No, Newcastle's Newcastle.
Oh, it's its own county.
Well,
What the county is
called it? Well, probably is County Durham. I've never really looked at it.
Aye, because it's so big, you just think it's its own thing.
Well, County Durham goes down to obviously borders North Yorkshire, doesn't it?
Yeah.
So, and then Sunderland will still be County Durham, and Newcastle probably would be over as well. Yeah.
Oh, right, okay. But it's mainly sort of well, you're saying arable there, East Coast. So we'll be a lot arable.
Yeah.
You're saying you used to be dairy, but what would be big dairy country, is it?
There was a lot of dairy cattle, a lot of dairy farms around us when I was younger, yeah. Where now they've dwindled down to probably within a 5 mile radius when I was a kid, there have probably been maybe just in double figures of dairy farms. Now I could probably count 3.
Yeah, is that right? Just because they never came back after foot and mouth?
Either foot and mouth or just from when what the prices they will get.
Was it I mean, foot and mouth for you guys, obviously you'd see it creeping up towards you. Is it you bet? No, you wouldn't be older than me, would you?
I'm 41.
Aye, so you'll easily remember foot and mouth, obviously. But I just wondering if you were actually involved in the business then, but just hardly would think you'd be.
I was just a school by then.
Aye. So was it a crushing one for the family, or was it actually maybe just a blessing? But for people that are struggling to make a living, sometimes it made the decision for them.
It sort of did for us turn our hand because we were at the stage where our dairy was just getting a little bit tired, and it was a case of either spend a lot of money putting a new system in, but if we did that, we would have to up the cows. Or we went out. And then Foster sort of made our decision for us, you know what I mean?
And so how's a dairy farmer's son get into this mobile sheep dipping carry on?
By most things in my life, by chance.
Okay.
So I fell into it.
No pun intended. I've done the course, I know how bad that is.
Yes,
actually, that's what you can argue. That's one very good thing about your dipper. It's just a bit impossible to fall into it because it's got a mesh floor in the cage.
You can't.
You actually can't fall.
Can't fall into it, no.
Yeah. One of the many perks. Anyone watching YouTube will have lots of shots of Neil's dipper because you're actually up here to dip some of my sheep tomorrow. We've got 500 to do tomorrow, which previously I will say it was just a job you dreaded, but with this system you've got, it's a doddle. Like it is an absolute doddle. So, but you never started out with that kind of system?
No.
But, tell us how you actually started dipping, you say, by chance?
Yeah, well, see, we always had Shape the Farm, and we had a conventional in-ground, hole-in-the-ground dipper.
Yep.
But it was like a lot of dippers in the country, it became tired and it needed renewed. And where it was put in at, if we want to put a new one in, we've had to move the whole handling system away because it was too close to a scrape. So we got a chap who had a mobile port equip one, lived 3-4 miles up the road.
Shout out to Port Equip. Good mate. They've been on the podcast. Neil's been on the podcast. So Port Equip,
all right. We'll say we had a chap who had a port equip one, and we got him in to come dip. And first time I'd ever seen mobile dipper, and this was back in 2012, 11 or 12, I think it was.
I mean, that must have been the early days of mobile dippers. Like, what you say, that must have been...
What? No, I think this port equip one that he came down with, I'm going to say it was about, could have been 8 to 10-year-old then.
Are you okay?
Yeah. It wasn't a new one then.
Yeah.
So, but he didn't used to do a lot with it. You know what I mean? So it'd be well looked after. And I just had to say to him, I said, fantastic machine this. Do you want to sell it? Because the chap was getting on a bit. And he said, no, I'm happy as I am. He says, right, no problem. Well, give us a ring if you ever want to sell it. Wasn't wanting to do any contracting with it, just purely do my own shape. So I think the time we were running about 400 or 500, something like that. And that was it. Got him in the next year, came and dipped him again. And then he rang us up about 2 or 3 minutes after and said, oh, Neil, I'm going to pack him. Do you still want to buy it off us? Yeah, no problem, I'll buy it. And I think I gave him about £3,000 for it, something like that. So, and it was at the time, it was on a chassis where he used to pull behind the pickup.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I believe now he can't. I don't think he can pull him behind pickups now.
I think
he can't. They changed it now, have they? Because I know they did stop.
Whether you can or whether you do is maybe different thing. No, you must be able to.
Right,
It must
right.
be road legal. Yeah.
Right. Well, because I know at one point
Because I shoot.
there was something where you couldn't pull it.
Well, I think there was 7 meters, which is the absolute limit
Yeah.
of a tow behind a pickup.
Right.
So they're absolutely ridiculously big.
Right. They must be on the limit anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But so we used to tow behind the pickup. But it was a big numb thing to tow around. You know what I mean? I mean, we got stopped off the place 2 or 3 times just because it looked out of place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, it's a shocker. Like, you know, I've pulled one about now and again for various things, and it does look ridiculous.
It does, yeah.
Like on the back of a pickup, it looks ridiculous because it's so big.
I think from nose to tail, you'd be the best part of 40 foot long.
Yeah, it's
From your nose, you pickle to the end of it.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
You're always far off.
And just even the way the dip tank at the back is so close to the ground.
Yeah.
But the whole thing looks crazy.
So, like you say, so we had that, and the chap said, I'll sell you on one condition. There's 2 or 3 people who I did for. I want you to still do theirs. I said, yeah, no problem. We'll do it. So bought off and dipped ours, dipped these 2 or 3 chaps, and obviously they paid us for it. And I thought, I think we did about 2,500 sheep in the first year. And I thought, do you like the sheep? That 2,500 sheep. And I thought maybe something in this. So we just started to hand a few cars out, advertise, and it slowly went from 2,500 to, I think we did 12,000 the year after, 18,000, 27,000, 38,000, and it just built itself up. And I ran that from 2013, 14 to 2017.
Okay.
Pod grip one. So, and I think we were doing 75,000 sheep a year then.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, it's got to be an easier way than this.
Yeah, it's a graft.
There's got to be an easier way than this. Stood over a cauldron staring all day and the fumes and everything like that. And no, there's got to be an easier way. So we're calling it there. We were up at Northumberland, up at Rothbury. We're calling it the fish shop, online fish and chip shop. And I had one of them days where if it can go wrong, it went wrong. Sheep wouldn't run. Petrol pump packed in, couldn't pump it out. It was just a nightmare. And pulled in at this fish and chip shop, 10, half 10 at night, and walked in and said, I've got any fish and chips. Oh, we'll just turn the fat fryer off. I thought, oh, well, that's my idea.
Aye.
It was one of them jobs where didn't take any food with us because it was meant to have been just we had maybe 200 or 300 to do.
Yeah.
3 hours work.
Yeah. Grab something on the way home.
On the way home.
Yeah.
But your sheep wouldn't run, whatever it was. It turned out to an all-day thing. So, fat fryers off. I says, oh, let's just finish my day right off now. So she says, no, I'll still be wanting to do some chips. So she thought, throw some chips in, put in the basket, and she'll load it down. And as she loaded them down in the basket, I thought, if you do the chips, you do the sheep. You must be able to.
I like it.
So phoned a friend up who was a fabricator and said, look, this is what I want to do. Can it be done? Yeah, possibly. And that's where we came up with a chip and dip machine, it's called.
Chip and dip. Yeah, so for anyone who would be watching on YouTube and would be able to see the visuals of Neil's machine, it's essentially you run it at the back of a lorry.
Yep.
She'd run up that new machine they go up about 2 or 3 abreast. Like it's a nice big wide ramp up to it. They go up, maybe 12, 14 at a time for those big mules. Saunter up, no hassle, in a nice wee group rather than one by one, which they hate doing up a ramp into. Well, once they've been dipped once, I think that they know what's happening. They saunter up into it. They stand in the cage, which is just like the Highland head height. You slide the gate shut behind it. You then stand. There's none of this. I've done a bit. Enough dipping. It's a bloody graft. Especially with big mule ewes, try to push them down in the tank, and they're slapping their big feet, their legs everywhere, and you're getting covered in it. Yeah. No matter how much PPE you put on, there's dip going everywhere. You're just standing pushing a button up and down.
Yeah, or pull a lever. Yeah. And it's a lot calmer system. I'm not saying there's no stress.
Yeah.
But it is drastically reduced.
Well, I think the massive thing for me that I didn't realise, because I understood when I saw it, you go to Yorkshire Show and you see your system at Yorkshire Show because you have a stand, and obviously we'd spoke about the system, and I thought, yeah, we'll come and do something. You filmed for Landlord today, you came with us last year. But what I didn't realise about the system and I never thought of was the sheep don't thrash about when they're in it because their feet are touching the bottom. I never considered that.
Yeah.
And it's genius. So like you have them just, obviously you dunk their head twice, but you have their head just so that their nose is just out of the water. They can breathe, but everything else is submerged. And they just stand there.
They just stand,
Because their feet are touching the bottom.
Yeah.
They're not panicking trying to swim.
Yeah, so they're fairly control. They're fairly control
Yeah.
themselves. So and they can just walk around and the water flows between the fleeces and things like that. And then obviously the only time when the feet is physically off the floor is if once the hedge is under. Oh, it's literally a second and straight back out again.
And an interesting one that people always ask me, and if they really thought about it, they work this out themselves. So what happens when your winch fails?
Well, it's on a pulley system.
Yeah.
So we have a separate winch that's on a power supply. So that's on a separate power supply. And so if, God forbid, anything did happen, the power pack failed, anything like that, you just press another button and it'll lift them up out. Yeah. But like you say, you'll be really unlucky if it fails when the hedge is under. You know what I mean? Because if the engine does just stall or pack in, by the time the oil stops pumping, you would still have time to lift them up out. So the heads would be out anyway.
Yeah, it would do.
And then the winch would lift them up, up out the rest of the way if you have to.
Did you ever get the story about the boys that someone like yourself set the dipper up, and the night before, and then they thought, and it must have been the old system where you flooded it.
A flood dip.
Yeah. And there was some was it that or was it not? I can't remember. And they thought, I'll make a start before he gets here or whatever, and they flooded it, and then can you work out how to? And they did they tried the first batch of sheep. That was an old story. I heard one if you'd ever heard.
I have heard something similar. I have
years ago.
I know in Australia they have a lot of flood dips. In Australia, the flood dips.
I've never seen one. I don't even know how it would work. Or it's just a cube that you just.
Yeah, basically it's a cube that they run into. It's a lot lower the ground, so they haven't got to run up as high.
Okay.
And then it's a sealed, watertight back door. And it's what they do. They have like someone might have a tanker, or they might have an onboard pumping system. If it's on,
like a big slide tanker, blast in. So
I think there's a chap.
It's slow way of doing it, was it not?
Well,
what a messing about.
You would think so, yeah. I know there's a chap who I've seen on the internet before. I think it's Greg Richards, I think he's called. He's in Australia, and that's what they run these flood dips.
Okay.
And it's such a way you just flood it in and then just suck it straight back out again.
But they wouldn't have scab in Australia.
No, I think it's more lice like that. Yeah.
Most foragers don't supply sheep and cattle with enough cobalt, copper, iodine and selenium, critical to digestion, immunity, reproduction and growth. When it comes to supplementation, there's a danger of under or oversupply. But when bolusing with Animax Tracesure, you can be sure every animal has enough for up to 6 months in one single application. Animax, giving what it takes.
You know, the party that I work with, they sell a thing called a jetter, which goes in the end, which, you know, is absolutely no use here. It's just going to cause resistance. Yeah. But actually, it works fine in a country where there is no scab, because you can rattle some through. If you try to do a bit of fly strike resistance or whatever, it can work fine for that. But you can't use it here because it'll produce resistance, because you're not giving them a full dose. Is the problem.
Yeah. It's the same as, like, you're sitting on the head. The chemical we use, Gold Fleece, is only licensed for plunge dips.
Yeah.
Right. It's not licensed for jetters. It's not licensed for showers. For that reason, that simple reason, because you don't know how much product is going on the animal. So you haven't really got any areas for drainage of a runoff. So there's a lot of chemical that could get exposed to the outer environment. Right. And obviously it's not nice stuff. And there was some trials done a few years back where people had been dipping in a conventional plunge dip, and they took bloods from people who had worked on it before they dipped and took bloods afterwards. And the people who were exposed mostly, believe it or not, were the people who weren't actually dipping. It was the people who were taking the sheep away afterwards.
That's all right, because
they stood behind you and they're shaking it, and they're walking them away behind them, and they were breathing all the spores with it, and they were exposed more. Their bloods came back, and they were exposed more than what the dipper was.
Yeah, I get bad sore heads from it. Does it bother you?
No, it doesn't bother me.
No, I've had to skitter a bit as well. If I, you know, maybe get down to the singlet like I'm not supposed to, and because it can be bloody warm when you're like, I'm wearing all this PPE, this waterproof jacket, this and a visor and all this, But man, when it's like August and it's 20 odd degrees,
Good way of losing weight.
oh,
Yeah.
like my God, the
Yeah.
sweat's blinding you.
Yeah.
Like it's hard to believe any dip could come into your skin because that much water running off it.
Exactly, yeah.
But you know, it does, gives me sore heads.
We-
And I thought about being a contract dipper at one point because it would work well with the scanning and the shearing,
Yeah.
you know, and just decided life was too short. For me, like the only way contract dipping, if you're going to be standing there, fine if you've got a tank for your own sheep and it's just once or twice a year, small numbers. But I think if you're going to be dipping sheep every day, like your system is just a dream.
Yeah, I mean, where you've got it from doing the conventional, I mean, I still have the conventional plunge dip. I still have the same dipper, like that same part equip one as what I had when I started out 10 years ago.
Someone said to me at Agri-Scott, we're talking Port Equip next does it, Agri-Scott, and they said the worst thing about Port Equip is it lasts too long.
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't know how that man, he says, I don't know how that man sells any of those because they last too bloody long.
Or the
Every farm sale you go to,
Yeah.
there's one there sitting in perfect condition.
Yeah.
Like, aye.
That and mine must be 20 plus years old.
Yeah.
Because they have had it for 10 years.
Yeah.
Well, I've used it for 10 years, and it must have been 8 or 10 years before that, so it's at least 20 years old.
And you were doing all those number of sheep.
And and it's, I've had 2 U ramps on it, but the dipper itself is, because I've modernised it how I want it. You know what I mean? I've done my own thing, so I've got like a rabbit exit at one end compared to what they always used to be like. And but it still runs from the day it was.
Yeah.
So I can't believe how well it's lasted.
Yeah. Well, Lance Armstrong, he's probably your biggest rival in Scotland. He does, he'll do an obscene amount of sheep as well, but he's all Port Equip, I think.
Yeah.
Lance, he's some man. I'll go try and pin him down for a podcast sometime with a laugh. Hear his stories, but but you make them yourself, you say, you put them in, you put it on a lorry.
All mine are up on
So
lorries.
there's no big towing issues.
No. Even the Port Equip one now is on a lorry. So,
Oh, is it?
Yeah, that's on a lorry now, yeah. Okay. Because the issue we were having was A, taking water with us,
Well, that's what
and
it was
B, bringing in waste it back.
Yeah.
So because before, it was an extra pickup, an extra trailer, you know what I mean, extra fuel, extra man, and then we're doing 4 runs in theory.
Yeah.
So now we can basically bring everything with us and take everything back.
Yeah, I'd argue that's, apart from the fact that it's so much easier on the sheep to dip in, your big selling point is the fact you'll take the dip away. Like, that's a big one for me, because I've no super license or anything for the dip. So it's great. I can have you come and dip anywhere, and you can take it away.
Yeah.
And I don't need to worry about that. No, that's a big, and you need the lorry for that.
Yeah.
You're also coming with a fair bit of water.
Yeah.
Which gives me a good head start because I've no water access either. Where we're going, I have got 2 IBCs filled up, so
we're all right.
I will be fine. You have a pump, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be fine then.
Yeah, we carry everything on board, so we carry pumps, carry tanks.
Yeah, I've just got 2 IBCs in the back of the stock trailer.
Yeah. Oh, we'll be all right.
Alright, be fine it.
You're okay, yeah.
Make that work.
Yeah, we'll make that.
Yeah, that's right. And you supply the dip, obviously.
We supply the dip, yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to colour them actually, but I never got around to buying the colour. I think be fine. I just think it looks nice. But it's expensive, isn't it? I'd cheap it. Coloured dip.
It is. It's about £9 something, £10 a pop.
Jesus,
Something
okay,
like that.
maybe not. The other interesting thing I think with your system, probably far better for doing pregnant ewes.
Yes.
You do a lot of pregnant ewes, do you?
We do a vast, we do a vast.
How many sheep are you dipping this?
We did just under 500,000 sheep last year.
Didn't you? Between how many lorries?
4.
Jeez, 500,000 sheep. Big turnover. Yeah, fair play. And with 2 boys in every lorry.
Yeah.
Okay. And you're not out. So how many days a week are you out now at all? Not really at all.
No, very
If you're too busy, if you're doing 500,000 sheep, mate, you must be too busy in the computer, like doing planning routes and invoicing.
It'll be a bit like yourself. You'll be up till stupid o'clock in the morning, just sorting things out and doing all that. So
Is this an absolute honour for me then, having you here to dip tomorrow?
But no, like I say, we're getting the sheep changed around now. Everything's changed around at home. So yeah, the plan is come out and do a bit more myself now as well. Because I do enjoy it.
That's good crack, isn't it?
Yeah. And you get to see some lovely parts of the world. You get to see some nice people. Get to see some good stock.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. And what, you'll get to see some bad stock too, right enough, like some of the worst. That's a given. What's how does your rates work? Do you work per, like, big mobs get cheaper?
Yeah.
What's your do you have a set threshold or
Yeah,
make
well-
up as you go along?
yeah, well basically we have a minimum fee. So anything from 1 sheep to 280 sheep is a set price.
Yep.
Right.
Which is what? At time of filming?
At time of filming,
Yeah.
you'd be £450.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah.
and then obviously you got your travel.
Don't listen to this in 3 years' time and then expect it
Won't
to be
be
the
that
same.
No, no. So, and then after that, it's per head basis.
Yeah.
And then, but obviously, the more you have, the cheaper it gets.
Yeah. So say 1,000 sheep, just because folk will always love to talk numbers here, as you might have noticed. 1,000 sheep is what per head, roughly? If you take the dip away as well.
If we take the dip away, you're £1.
Or is that a separate charge?
Yeah, it's a separate.
Alright, so what is it per head, just a dip?
£1.50 a head.
150.
Yeah, okay.
And you bring 2 men, there's two men.
Two men, that's what you're buying a day.
Because that was the big mistake I made last time. I had too many staff. Tomorrow we've not got enough. But last time we had 2 men, because like it was so good, your man, you dipped him. Like all I had to do was put 12 sheep in a pen.
That was it.
And then
We do everything else.
Anthony or whoever was there comes down, brings them, takes them up the ramp. I just stand at the bottom of the wrap and keep putting 10, 12 in a pen.
Yeah.
There's no shoving sheep up or...
But that's what fans like as well, because like you said, you must have, obviously, you said you've experienced some issues when you dip sheep before.
Yeah.
So in theory, you're 5 metres away from that dip tank.
Yeah.
So
Oh, it's nowhere near it.
yeah, all the farmer needs to do is get them to the bottom of the pen, bottom of the race. We handle them after that. We get them off the lorry.
Yeah.
So a farmer doesn't have to be anywhere near it. We've had jobs before where farmers have got the sheep in the pens and just gone, there's the sheep. I'm going off to go and cut some grass, or I'm going cut some edges or do whatever. So they haven't got nothing to do with it.
Oh, that was that was the thing last time. Because of my experience of shoving up the ramp, I think I had 3 or 4 people there to help keep them coming and keep them pushed up. But actually, you could, if you had somebody bringing them from the back pens, 2 of you could easily do it in a very relaxed pace, with then you 2 guys dipping. So that was another massive win for me. I thought, so it's just Lizzie and I tomorrow. But about Dodo. She does the work at 2 lane anyway, so I'll be right. What time are we starting, by the way? Does your Joy start?
Yes.
8, so sounds fine. Yeah, I'll be late enough.
500.
Yeah, 500. I want to be rapid.
3 hours.
We had to mess about last time for like an hour, so it'll be 3 hours.
3 hours. I'm done. 2.5, 3 hours.
Was that make 150 an hour? So we usually something like that.
No, I normally tend to work. I only see a work on anywhere between 280, 300 an hour. But
Well, it depends how many go in the cage.
Yeah. I mean, obviously these will be run with the. They'll be run with the tubs.
Yeah.
So we'll put less in, go a bit less, go a bit more steady with them.
Less stress.
So less stress. See, with 150, 200.
I mean, it's obviously not an ideal time to do them, but various things with weather's been shocking, and just try to get things arranged with you. But it's not ideal doing them at tapping, but it's not really going to hassle them much, is it?
No, I've dipped all mine for the last 8 or 9 years, 3 weeks after tubs was gone in, and I've never had any issues come scanning, never saw any higher, any like abortion rates, anything like that.
For anyone wondering about the dipping thing, like you absolutely do not need to have scab to dip.
No.
Like the sheep just glow.
Yeah.
And my big thing particularly, although we didn't get some of the mules done this year just because of the way it went or whatever, I think with Cheviets, they're terrible for lice.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're definitely worse than mules in my opinion. Maybe it's where they are, but dipping, since I started dipping every year, I never had to treat for lice. That's good. It's one thing. Like I've had scab many years ago when I bought some stole lambs, but touch wood, I've not had it for, well, dipping for years, so we shouldn't have. But the lice is like never had to treat since I started dipping.
My sheep have never looked as good come like lambing time, come springtime, since I started dipping, doing a back end dip.
Yeah. Why is that thing just like,
Well,
cleans the skin? Just
yeah, I mean, I turn around and say, think of it yourself. You've been outside working all day. You go in the house, you have a bath or a shower. Yeah. You feel better yourself.
Yeah.
You clean, you feel better in yourself when you get a wash, don't you? Yeah. You feel more content.
It's hard to believe they feel better in themselves, and you think, I mean, to them, it's like they've been drowned. And that's the thing, there's no way to dress up dipping to be it's nice for the sheep.
Yeah.
It's although your system is less stressful, it's still bloody horrible. Like they're put in a cage and stuck under the water. It's traumatic, and that's why I worry about the fact that with the tup. But and you're right, it's like sheep are, and I've said this before too to people when I talk about shearing. Sheep are bred, have evolved to be terrified. So they handle it really well.
Yeah.
Like a sheep will be terrified,
Yeah.
and then it'll be fine.
Yeah.
Whereas something perhaps more like the carnivore type animals, like a dog, if a dog gets terrified, it's terrified for hours.
Yeah.
Look at fireworks, or you have a dog around, it remembers that for ages. It's quaking for ages. Whereas a sheep, it's bag in the wind, terrified, back grazing.
Yes.
And that's the different sort of mindset of a...
But it's like even you put them through a foot bath this time of year. They're going to be scared of that bit. You're going to put them under undue stress, and it's. I just say to farmers, it's no different. Our system is no different to run through a footbath to a certain degree.
Run them through a scanner.
Scan have a scanner. Sheep do not like to be handled, full stop.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't like to be, they like to be outside in the field, grazing, and that's it. So,
Yeah. So if someone wants some sheep dipped, give you a shout.
give us a call.
Yeah. Neilfell, I'll put the mobile number up on the screen.
Yeah.
And the email address, we'll put that on the screen. There'll be a sheep game vlog coming from it as well. You can check out that. We'll put a link in the description. It'll be out before this podcast, I think, because we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves now with the podcast. Quite good with a few in the bank. So before we're at almost at an hour there, Neil. It flies by, doesn't it? Does it flies by? You're still taking your dinner as well. Now we have a quiz to do now. Usually Iona's here to do the questions and I count how many you got. So I'm going to get a pen and I said, Now, where do you fancy us? They're hard questions. Although I've had a look at yours actually, and it is, just for anyone wondering about the question we use the same place all the time.
Right.
For fairness, so it's the same bank of questions, just obviously different ones we use each time. I think you've got a decent run here. To be fair now, where do you fancy yourself? Are you a quizzer?
I'm going to put us mid-table. Put us.
Yeah, you'll beat Iona on 7.
I might do 6.
6, okay. Martin Kennedy, our NFU president, is right. 6 as well, so that's a fair target. Okay, so we're going to start in 3, 2, 1. On UK roads, the national speed limit applies sign is a white circle with a diagonal stripe. What colour is the stripe?
Black.
Yes. Which newsreader won the first series of Strictly Come Dancing? Natasha Kaplinski or Victoria Derbyshire?
Natasha?
Yes, correct. Let's go with yes. 50-50. Who replaced Donald Trump as the 46th President of the United States?
Joe Biden.
Correct. First start. Roland Garros is a tennis competition which takes place in which country?
France.
Let me say it again. Roland Garros is a venue. Yeah, it's France. That's a bad question. The Seven Dwarfs appear in which 1812 fairy tale written by the Brothers Grimm?
Snow White.
God, I told you this is a decent one of questions. Jodie Foster plays Tallulah in which 1976 Canton musical comedy film?
Not a clue.
Bugsy Malone. In the body, the eustachian tube connects the throat to which other part of the body?
Say it again.
The eustachian tube. The eustachian tube connects the throat to which other part of the body?
Your stomach?
Ear.
Ah.
Which James Cameron directed film starring Zoe Saldana, Sigourney Weaver and Sam Worthington was released in 2009 and went on to become one of the highest grossing films of all time?
2009.
James Cameron, biggest film of all time, one of them.
I'm not a film buff.
Avatar.
Aye.
Air Commodore Sir Frank Whittle is best known for which invention? The jet engine or television?
Jet engine.
Correct. Charlotte Wellington won gold at the Tokyo 2020 Summer Olympics whilst competing in which cycling event? A cycling event. You can pass.
Aye, pass.
Pass. BMX. Last question. Complete the name of this famous Brazilian statue, Christ the...
Oh! That's once in Brazil, isn't it?
Yeah, in Rio.
In Rio. I can't think of it.
Christ the Redeemer.
That's it.
Yeah. Mate, 6.
Do I get half a point for that one?
6. No, I gave you half the answer.
That was good guess, then. 6.
Mate, what a start.
I'll take that.
I knew, see when I read the first couple of questions, I thought you were going to get a rocking start.
Yeah.
Then it got back into the hard ones. Like, I would never have thought of BMX as an Olympic event.
No. And I'm not a film person.
I would have got Avatar. I would definitely have got Avatar.
Never seen it.
I actually have seen it. I just remember it's such big hype for. I would never have got Ear. I don't even know if I pronounced that tube right.
No.
I'm happy. Christ the Redeemer, it's easy for me to say I got it because I can read it, but I don't know if I would under pressure. That's 6. That's all.
I'm happy.
In there with Martin Kennedy.
Wasn't far off.
In there with our NFU president, Martin Kennedy. So good on you, mate. Well, listen, it's been a pleasure, Neil. We can get away, get your dinner now. Thanks for joining. And obviously, we're going to spend the day dipping tomorrow. So you can check out Neil's details on the screen, or you can find them in the description below this video. And there'll be a sheep game video of the dipping having tomorrow. Let's do it, mate. Cheers, Durham. Thank you.
And we're back. You listened to that one, no, Iona?
Yes, I did. I really enjoyed
What do
it.
you think of Neil?
Really good, nice guy.
Yep.
Good guy. Clever. Love the story of how he came up with his idea. Of
Yeah, the
his
chips.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's good.
Isn't it?
Yeah,
Think
yeah.
it's true? I
It's a great- I know,
I
it's-
believed him. I believe him.
I wonder if he come up with it fun. I was like, oh. And then he went for a fish supper and was like,
Oh,
yeah.
I see.
It's like they've copied my bloody way of doing the chips. They've bloody they've seen my dipper. No, I think it's a great system. Like ever since I seen it, we did a bit for Landward with it and putting mule ewes up it, and I've dipped mule ewes in the standard tub dipper, mobile dipper, and try to ram them up that ramp one at a time, and then they're thrashing like mad in the dipper, and
it's not a nice experience.
Oh, it's horrible for them.
Yeah.
Like, all dipping is horrible
Yeah.
for sheep. All dipping is horrible for sheep, but Neil's is definitely the least horrible. I would absolutely say that. And it's the fact they can have their feet on the ground while still being in the dip is just incredible.
Yep.
Like, it's a genius idea. And for the human point of view, like, dip is a chemical. It's dangerous. It's I thought about doing mobile dipping. I've got my license and that kind of stuff. I thought about mobile dipping, but I was getting headaches and
it's
life's
not
too
worth
short.
it.
Yeah, life's too short.
No.
I thought I'm gonna pay for this later in life. So patched it. But his system where you just stand at the side and push a button is far, far better. So yeah, shout out to Neil. Thanks for him coming in. We'll think more on this pig thing. I might speak to his pig man, see. I need to get a couple of sheds right enough, but when's this out?
Christmas Eve.
Oh, Christmas Eve. Right, well, if you're listening to this podcast, you need to watch the sheep game video today, because the sheep game video is quite interesting. I've got a couple of sheds now, and I'll show you them on today's sheep game video, which is coming out at... What time are we going to put it out at?
Well, it'll be ready on the 23rd, so anytime.
Yeah, I'll be ready in the next couple of days. Do we put it out at lunchtime?
1 p.m.
Why 1 p.m? People come in for a lunch, they quite like to watch
12.
a video with a lunch.
Mm-hmm.
Right, we'll put it out 12 o'clock on Christmas Eve. Kids are off school on Christmas Eve anyway, aren't
Yep.
they? 12 o'clock Christmas Eve. So if you're watching this on YouTube, it's already out. If you're listening to it in audio, it's just coming. It's just coming.
Just wait, just hold on.
Yeah, hold on. It's exciting. It's insane, actually. So that's us for this week.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas to everyone. As you heard on the Friday chat, Iona and I are having beef, which is different, but also cheaper as well, I suppose.
Well, I was speaking to my friend Katie, and she'd bought a frozen turkey because she's making the dinner this year and she wanted to have a trial run. 40 quid for a frozen turkey from Sainsbury's. Not even that big one.
Yeah, turkey's expensive, but then it's quite a bit of work in rearing a turkey, and
But compared to chicken,
massive difference.
why?
A turkey's like a 9-month job.
Oh,
turkey's-
right. Okay,
turkey's
yeah, whereas
slow.
chicken, you can
Yeah,
just...
chicken's like 10 weeks or 10 weeks I think a chicken is.
it's not. Yeah,
So
okay,
that's 2.5
fair.
months. Yeah, I think you're like 9 months with turkey. I should know that, but I think a goose is about the same. It's about 9 months. Like that's the big difference, and obviously a
Yeah.
lot more feeding, and it's a massive. Like some of the weight of some of the turkeys is insane.
Yeah,
like
big.
those big Kelly Browns are absolute monsters. They do get a lot of meat off a turkey.
Yeah, you do.
And it's succulent if done right.
If done right.
It can be gay chuck.
It can be good chuck.
It can be gay chuck. There's
Yeah.
good Scots slang. Speak properly, Iona. Anyway, that's us for this one, folks. Enjoy your Christmas. Thanks for listening to Fed by Farmers, and we'll be back. We don't miss any for Christmas. We'll be back again next week.
Yes, we will.
I've been Cammy,
I've been Iona.
and we are all
Fed by farmers.